Hello everyone, this is Omobi and welcome to episode 33 of the Trading Without Borders podcast, and we will continue with our discussion on trading services protocol under the AfCFTA agreement, and we are going to look at the market access provisions today. Market access is basically the conditions under which a state party is willing to let service suppliers of other state parties to access its market, like the terms under which you're going to supply or provide services in its territory. The provisions of the agreement is basically to get the state parties to stand by or comply with whatever it is they have agreed to, whatever terms, whatever conditions, whatever limitations, abide by it and do not deviate from it. So that's what the AfCFTA provision in respect of market access for supply of services. So we are going to be looking at the provisions. We'll examine some of them. First one, where a state party has undertaken market access commitments through the four modes of services supply, that state party has to accord services and the services suppliers of other state parties treatment that is no less favorable than the terms, limitations, and conditions that it has agreed upon and specified in its schedule of specific commitments. For the benefit of those that are not aware of the four modes of services supply, you can listen to a previous episode when we started discussions on trading services. I did a breakdown, but I'll just do a quick one. So there are four modes of supply of services. There's cross-border supply, basically providing the services via digital communication. Maybe you get an architect in your country, in another country, to provide the service for you, and it sends the work via email. Then consumption abroad, maybe a Ghanaian national going to Kenya to use the hotels or to use their facilities, or maybe a hospital in Kenya. That's consumption abroad. Then commercial presence, maybe that's a company from another state party establishing that, setting up, it can set up a branch in another state party's territory. And the presence of natural persons, that's somebody, a service supplier going from its own country to another country to provide the service, maybe like a lecturer, a professor going to another university in another territory to just give to provide the service there and everything. So that's basically modes of supply. But you can go to that episode and listen. I did a detailed breakdown on that. So if a state party has entered market access commitments in this area, it has to accord them treatment that is no less favorable than the terms, conditions, and limitations that are agreed upon. The next one we're looking at is sector-specific commitments, and for sectors where market access commitments are undertaken. I'd also previously mentioned in one of the episodes that there are currently 5 priority sectors being negotiated upon by state parties for trading services. So we have the financial sector, communications, we have tourism, we have transportation and business services. So there are negotiations ongoing, and of course I will give an update when we have the full details or that's been completed. For sectors where a state party has undertaken market access commitments, that state party cannot adopt the following measures. 1. The state party cannot limit the number of service suppliers, whether in the form of numerical quotas, competition, exclusive service suppliers, or on economic needs. It's where a state party has entered commitments in respect of the 5 priority sectors. That's just an example. This state party can't then say, oh, okay, we're going to limit the number of service suppliers, or based on certain numbers or economic needs, that do we need a new entrant, or based on the competition or exclusive service suppliers. So for sector-specific commitment, the state party cannot limit the total value of service transactions or assets, either through economic needs or numerical quotas as well. A state party can also not limit the total number of service operations or the total quantity of service outputs, either by quotas or economic needs as well. A state party can also not limit the total number of natural persons that may be employed in a particular service sector, or that a service supplier may employ that is necessary or directly related to the supply of a particular service, either based on economic needs or numerical quota. The state party cannot limit. And finally, just two more measures which a state party can also not adopt. A state party cannot adopt measures that restrict or is going to require that specific types of legal entity or joint venture that a service supplier must that has to use to supply a service. So you can't say, oh, you can only supply the service through this legal entity or joint venture. That's not allowed. And finally, a state party cannot limit the participation of foreign capital. You can't place limit either on maximum percentage of limit on foreign shareholding or the value of aggregate foreign investments. Okay, so that's where we ended for today's podcast. And as usual, the podcast is just for information purposes. If you need expert advice, please reach out to me. And until next week, Thursday, I say bye-bye.